Why, hello there, everyone. Hope you're all doing really well. We are currently very far north of Not Krai. Some say it might be Shinesnaya. I don't really know. But what I do know is that this is an unfinished part of the Genshin Impact map, and presumably it's going to be an expansion in the Luna 2 or Luna 3 version of the game. So if you're interested, this is a bit of a sneak peek to the upcoming regions that we're going to get. As you can see, I've clearly put in a lot of time currently at Not Cry, so that's why, I've got a bit bored of it and decided to go a bit out of bounds. Now, I'm actually joking. It was actually kind of fun to just see what the devs are planning. It's just like one of my favorite pastimes. In any case, you can see that we are here, and if you are impatient, this is pretty much the majority of the map, except for that starting area, which has got a bit more detail. But if you're interested, stick around and I'll take you through everything. Okay, so to start off with, if you go under the map and not quite pretty trivial, you get to this primordial-like sea area. It's just basically the area under the water. And if you walk here of Kokomi, it's pretty beautiful. But you'll see that this is like the northern part of Notcry before the like out of bounds region. And you'll see Paimon's just going to stop us in a bit. So whether you go underneath or across the land, you can't actually get there. But once you ask Paimon very nicely to let you through, she will allow you to do so. And you can see here we are going to the new region. I'm just using Farina because it's just very convenient to travel a long body of water with her. And as you can see, yeah, this place looks actually not too bad. I don't know what the full lighting effects are supposed to be, but I presume Hoya was going to plan some cool things for us. What I spotted here looked like a harbor, so presumably you're going to take a boat from the northern part of Notcry to this harbor-like kind of area, and that's probably where the player is going to start. Now, a couple of things just to mention. When you are out of bounds like this with Paimon, you can't swap characters, so for anyone that is a Farina fan, I do apologize for killing her, but it's just that if you've got this vast, like, beautiful land that you need to traverse, and you don't want to waste people's time, you kind of want to do it with a bit of a faster character, so we're going to use the C1 Mavuika here, which is going to be pretty fun. So okay, with C1 Mavuika we can travel, and you can see we've got a couple of open regions. I don't know what might be in this place, but definitely you can see much more of that Celtic. I don't know if you've ever been to Scotland, Ireland. It gives me some of those type of vibes. I don't know, it might just be my imagination, but regardless, in this first area you can see some unfinished housing. I don't know what type of area this is, but there is a lot to see here. Presumably this is going to be like the main village or entry point into this region, and then you'll probably go further north, and you'll probably at the end of this find Aurora's, giving you that Elsa song from Frozen 2. I'm joking, but yeah. In any case, this is the first starting area that I found. By the way, I've sped up the footage, so just pause if you want to see more detail, but I couldn't really find anything interesting there. And then also, as I looked across the map, I noticed that there could potentially be a map line cutting across, which means your characters will be automatically downed if you go past it. Basically, Genshin Impact has a limit as to how far out you can be, and I've been literally off of the edge of Tevat, so I know these things in quite a lot of detail. But surprise, surprise, you can actually play, if you know how to go out of bounds, you can go through the full area without having to worry that your characters are going to get auto-killed. But yeah. So the cool thing about this area is that it's very expansive. There's lots of rocky terrain, and I'm very curious to see how they're going to add some environmental detail. Just going on one of these little short hills over here, and does give you a sense of the different like terrains and elevations you can see. This is also another nice like little beautiful view. There's like a kind of a bit of a lake, and then obviously we can go further on to the newer areas. One thing that I must mention, and this is why I haven't changed like the skylighting initially, is that in the older versions of the game, when you were out of bounds with Paimon, A, you couldn't swap characters by dying, and B, if you tried to change the lighting in the air, basically like the daylight over time, time dial, effectively the game would, depending on where you are, you could literally get stuck and like soft lock your game. You'd have to then exit and re-enter. But yeah, that is something that I found out a bit late in the latest version that you can actually successfully do, and then you can get back to the day view. But I must say, this little quick part about the evening, that definitely kind of gave us a couple of hints that in the moonlight, this is going to look really, really gorgeous for an area. On the ground here, there's not really much because I don't think any of the details been filled in, but this does clue you in on how the developers like slowly mold and shape the different areas. I mean, it's always fascinating to see how they've actually constructed an area. So this gives you that early view, and it's always like amazing to me how they can fill up an area systematically just from these like I would almost like say outlines that they're given. Presumably you've got a couple of artists giving like some sort of impression of how they want the area to look like, and then the level designers just slowly start baking it and iterating over it, and they do kind of a lot of work to get the level design done as well. It's the same in Wuthering Waves, where the guy said, well, before they even started the game, they were already busy like constructing and finishing Renacita like a year before the launch of the game. So it just goes to show you that what you think is just a bit of like landscaping is actually kind of a lot of design, aesthetics, angles, which is kind of crazy. Okay, so this is where we started off the video. Basically, there is not much more to show. So you can see here with Kokomi, I'm just taking a couple of pictures. Do feel free to pause if you want to. But for me, it's just a tradition to always walk with Kokomi everywhere. And I didn't really find anything new. I didn't find like any hidden sigils or any plans of what the ancient devs might do. This area looks like maybe perhaps a little mini boss area. I had a joke for what that green patch is there with Loma, but I'll keep that to myself. And then yeah, I just try to see exactly where we are, how far we are out of the map, and then obviously trying to swim here with Kokomi because, well, we don't have the ability to infinitely walk on water sadly with her. I wish Genshin would just give her the buff, but they wanted to give it to Farina, and obviously since the Genshin devs decided to do it and to give Farina an infinite walking on water buff, well, hey, you know, I'm going to completely abuse it to go out of bounds, so I'm still getting back at the Genshin devs for not giving it to Kokomi. But in any case, once you get to this island, there is not much, except if you go to the opposite side of this rock, you'll see it's yellow. I don't know if that means you struck gold or anything, but that's pretty much it. I just took the photo because I want to confuse the people on r/Kokomi mains. They'll be like, wait, where the hell are you? So I'm going to try and confuse them, which is pretty fun. And then finally, there is an area or a rock right there at the far edge. Spoiler alert, there is pretty much nothing there. And then there are a couple of rocks elsewhere along the periphery of the new area. I might take the, what do you call it, wave rider and just see if there's anything special, in particular those mountain ranges at the back. Typically those are placeholders, so it's just a flat like water surface and then just a see-through, or like when you get closer you can just like pass through the mountain. It's just like for aesthetic purposes really. Not like anyone would see them from not Krai, but obviously since we're here we can see it. Oh, and there is the last like Natlan region, as you can see there as well. Okay, so that is pretty much it for the new region. Thank you guys like really for watching. If you've been sticking along, thanks for being around. And yeah, we'll keep on doing cool things like this. Oh, and by the way, I love the fact that in this sunset you can just like go here with Kokomi and Paimon. It's just really, really good. And it's like, oh no, bye bye Kokomi, and then Paimon's just like, hey, hey. It's just like, it's just, I thought the timing was kind of ironic. It's just like you're drowning and Paimon's like, oh, hey. It's just kind of funny. Okay, as the sun sets, I'm going to call it a day. I also have to now sleep. It's kind of late at night. Thank you so much for watching.